Good morning and welcome to our Four Questions Journalist Spotlight. This week we're talking with Nicole Carr with WSB Television, WSB TV. Nicole, good morning.
Good morning, Mitch.
I'm glad we're able to take some time.
Me too. I'm on PTO.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous, although I'm trying to take a few days off before the end of the year as well. Well, let's get right into it. So you are a investigative reporter with WSB TV, but give us a little background. It's like, where did you come from? Where did you I know TV reporters usually work a couple of places before they get to Atlanta. So talk to me about how you got here.
Okay, so we grew up military brats. And my last assignment in TV it was actually in my hometown of Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is home to Fort Bragg.
Right.
And so I was able to cover the military and my hometown for WTVD, which is the ABC O&O in Durham, covers Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville. So we were back home in North Carolina before this. And prior to that, I was in the Greensboro area on a second stop because I went back there after I got married, returned to that market, and I'd been in Nashville before that. So I've just kind of been all over the Southeast, but mostly at home in North Carolina. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how many years at WSB now?
Oh my goodness. In March it will be 5.
5 years. Okay. All right. And so you're on the investigative team. Mm-hmm. So tell me, what does that entail? What's the focus there?
Well, let me tell you, it has certainly evolved. I think over at Channel 2, there was always a different kind of workflow to our investigative unit. At our station, we are also in the daily mix, as well as working on long-term stories. And so our bigger investigative pieces before the pandemic used to air during the sweeps period, so you had 4 times a year where those projects that you'd been working on for months and months, they would air. Of course, and I'll give you an example. I've had a week pre-pandemic where I was in Mexico and on the Saturday and Sunday and back in the morning meeting on Monday morning at 9:00, turning a daily. So that, that's literally how that went. It was like you get some time off the board, you'd be working on that investigation, and then you'd be back there leading to 6:00 with whatever we needed to lead with. Since the pandemic, we've gone through a couple of different phases. We launched WSB Tonight back in April, which allowed us to do some longer form reporting. And some of that was more in depth on COVID issues. And then some of it was investigative. We were figuring out what was happening with the airport and an issue they had with folks, spending the night in the airport, and that being a growing problem as we address problems that were mounting with our homeless population and what to do during the pandemic. We had a period over the summer where there were extreme testing delays and lost tests that were at the hands of, state agencies and testing. So we've gotten in deeper into issues, social justice issues, a deeper look at the Ahmaud Arbery case and investigations that we had already run on the Brunswick DA in that area and how it played into what we were seeing over the summer. So we were getting a chance to look in depth for 4 or 5 minutes in these topics and delve in. Our investigative team is back into the daily mix, as well as election coverage now. So the elections forced us to evolve. I had an investigation last week about a true voter fraud investigation that stemmed from a Florida resident who was encouraging folks to come here and had registered here, knowing that he was not a permanent resident.
Yeah, I saw that one, and he caught up with his brother too. I saw.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that wasn't a long-term deal, but it was investigative in the sense that, I happened to come across it one day and took 2 days on it to turn it. And it turns out Actually, that case I just learned last night has headed over to the DA in Paulding County as well as the state. So when you ask like what it entails, it's our role has evolved based on the needs of the station and based on the what the time requires of us, this moment in time. And so it wouldn't be incorrect to say we are really all over the place.
Well, and this, as I tell people, this certainly is a atypical news year.
Right.
You know, and you know, just in terms of the election and the pandemic and all of that, I know everyone is hoping we get back to a little more balance sometime maybe later next year would be a good target. And I know that your reporting, because of the pandemic, has changed kind of how you get out and can do stories, right? How has that changed?
So I'm out in the field more than I've ever been before, prior to, for the first few months, I would say until the protest in May, we were home. The protests forced us out. And then some people on staff have been more comfortable in the field than others. And so we kind of started moving at our own pace when the story didn't require us to be front and center. We contact trace within the station, so we're often paired up with the same people, and so we've had to build trust with our partners that we're working with, and just figure out, does the story really need us to be require us to be there? And so it's been a real mix. But when I'm home, I've had the benefit of tapping into that. My husband's in the business and already had a set. An in-home studio for a show that he produces for another network. And so I had I benefited greatly from his, he runs my live shots. The station dropped off the equipment. He'll run the live shot for me. He'll troubleshoot. He's got a great lighting setup. I'm hiding now in a bedroom because the kids are virtual learning and he's in his studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this isn't the setup, but I found a spot to talk with you in. So in that regard, I honestly, if I didn't have him, I'd probably have lost my mind working from home. And we went through a period, a lot of us were quarantined because of exposure in covering the elections. So I just came out of a quarantine, right after Thanksgiving, a 2-week quarantine. So you have to be prepared. It's like we have to have the setup here just in case that is the issue. Now We've got spiking cases. I think you're going to start seeing us back home a lot more as a whole, industry-wise, wide. And it just depends on the day, on the topic, on the need.
Yeah, I guess flexibility is the watchword, just to be able to have the option to go work from home or be in the station on set, and the comfort level of the people you're interviewing. While you may be okay with sticking the mic out on a stick and standing back and social distancing and wearing masks, everyone you're talking to, everybody's got a different way that they're moving through this. So it depends on who you're talking to and what their needs are as well. So you mentioned the Florida case. Is there another story you've done in the last couple of months, not necessarily election or COVID related? Oh, okay, that's probably the short list to that. I guess the question is there another story? Let's go back further. Let's go back 5 years. Is there a story that kind of stands out? You thought, I really liked that story. We really made a difference with that story.
Well, right before the pandemic, I don't know how many folks caught this, but there's an OIG investigation into the National Guard youth boot camps, so to speak, that Georgia is running. We had found, along with the AJC, a pattern of physical abuse and sexual misconduct within these youth camps that Georgia kids attend. And it caught the attention of the leadership with Georgia National Guard. They had started investigating the claims that we had pulled out of a records request to see what was going on in these areas. And I felt like we were affecting change in the youth camp arena. It literally aired the week we went into lockdown. It was the last non-COVID investigation. So I came off maternity leave, went straight into working on that with Chris Joyner and Johnny Edwards at the AJC. And the kids were sent home because of COVID, but a probe had already started into what we had uncovered, and it forced the resignation of some of the leadership out at Fort Stewart. So I wanted to follow, and we got lots of calls about other incidents and things that we probably would have been following up for months on end had it not been for COVID. And it's something I want to return to. But that dealt with what the children were experiencing, how those situations were handled, and who had true oversight of the kids at those camps. I have another one that's in the works right now. It has to do with conditions that migrant workers are facing in our state. We have not decided on an air date. I think that's going to be a big one. And then we got into some insurance fraud right before I went on to maternity leave, where we found folks had their DNA run without permission through a lab. They're involved in or at the center of a federal investigation right now. We're going to have to follow up on that. But we took actually a complaint off of Clark Howard's Consumer Action Center phone line about a lady who got billed $10,000 for a DNA test she had not authorized.
Yeah.
We found her signature had been forged. The doctor's office was pointing at the lab was pointing at the doctor's office, and it turns out there were samples being run that were not authorized by patients. And so that's in the middle of a federal investigation. So those are the stories. I enjoy doing something that will help somebody in the end.
Yeah. Well, and I know for, PR folks and other businesses who might be watching, I know you guys will sometimes need kind of a third-party expert to kind of give some expertise on something, not necessarily not someone who's involved with the case, but someone who can do that. So, I know there's a lot of folks around town who are, if you have an expert on certain areas, you probably could kind of reach out to you and just say, hey, for the future, not that you're necessarily going to, reach out to them until you need them.
Yeah, right. But knowing they're there.
Right. Yeah, just so you have it in your what we used to call our Rolodex.
Yes, especially right now, employment law. And you remember, Mitch, we worked on a story a while back about liability and what were the chances of, and everybody, I'm telling you, people thought we were going too far with that back in April, I think. Right. Like, that's not going to be a thing. And then it's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have issues of liability, workplace issues. Mm-hmm. The cybersecurity is a huge thing with so many people working from home now. So anybody who's got experts in law, cyber issues, all kinds of things. Probably be good to just kind of reach out to you with a short note and just say, hey, if you're touching on this issue, I got a woman or a man who can be a source for you, and that'll make it easier for you when you get to that point of saying, crap, I need somebody now. Yes.
And we're about to get into supply chain stuff with you guys too. That's going to be critical.
Right. Well, that's the whole big issue with the vaccine is the supply chain side. Okay. So, let's get into the fun stuff now. Get into the work stuff. Here's how the work stuff works. So what is something kind of fun and different and cool about Nicole that people might not know? And maybe fun hobby you do or things you collect or something. And I had a friend who actually she worked at WSB, and she didn't tell me this until I happened to notice at her house when she collected like blue themed porcelain. It's like, oh, okay, that's unique. Yeah, it's kind of different. So what's Nicole? What's the cool thing about Nicole?
Well, what is cool about me? I don't think there's a lot of cool things.
What do you like to do when you're you had a couple of days off next week? Where are you going to get to? What are you guys going to do that's kind of getting out there and getting away?
Well, we're going to do some crafts, the kids and I, just holiday things that I would be doing with my mommy if my mom was here. I'm gonna cry. I miss my mom. If we were all together for the holidays, we're going to be baking. We're going to we're really into Uno right now.
That's a great game. Yeah. We used to play that a lot when my kids were little, younger.
So we're doing that. We've got popcorn on a string. Kevin McAllister is going to be on the TV all week, like Home Alone. Yeah. We're we've done multiple Christmas trees this year.
Is there? You told me you've got what, 2 or 3 now? 3? After 3?
The third one's coming this week.
All right. All right. So what's the family holiday movie that you guys like to watch together?
So we're definitely on our Home Alone, and I am a huge Christmas Story fanatic. Yep. So Ralphie is everything.
Yep.
And our new movie is Jingle Jangle on Netflix.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
Rashad.
Okay. It's good. All right.
It's beautiful, beautiful story. It gives you all the Nutcracker vibes with it's just visually, it is amazing. And the characters are beautiful and the storytelling, and the kids still think Felicia Rashad is Claire Huxtable. So they're like, what?
Yeah,
this is a grandmother now.
Yeah, I love Christmas Story, and It's a Wonderful Life. My spouse is not a It's a Wonderful Life fan, but she'll let me watch it, my annual viewing. So those are mine. But we did watch. What did we watch? There was some other. So Netflix has a bunch of stuff. So there's
oh yeah.
All right. So last book that you read that you want to admit.
That I want to admit. Okay, I'm glad you added that caveat, because I will tell you, I've got different reading lists.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to get lost in something crazy and out of this world, something a little ratchet. But I am rereading right now The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkinson, and it's about the Black migration in American history from South to North, and the history of Black families post-slavery and where folks moved. And the reason I'm rereading it is I've had the book for years, and they don't go hand in hand, but I just wanted to get myself set for her new book, which is Cast. And so I wanted to kind of go down that road, because recently I've gotten really involved in tracing family history that is actually going into an album that's going to be part of my dad's Christmas gift. But a couple of years ago, when we got to the African American History Museum in DC, they had a room where they teach you about tracing lineage. And I'd started a couple of years ago and found some things that we did not know about, and was able to track some records also in Jamaica that we had never pulled. So I'm putting together some stuff there. So those two books, I say that because my mind is so in documenting history that the kids can pick up and take with them
All right.
as they
So
start their families.
the next one, favorite Atlanta restaurant,
Hmm.
either sit down or to go.
So my favorite pizza is Slim and Husky's.
Oh, I don't know that one. Where's that?
Have you, I have to look up the address.
I'll find it. Slim and Husky.
Oh my God. It is so good. The first time I went there, it was in Nashville, North Nashville, which is where they launched. It's to TSU grads who operate that. But Slim and Husky, and I'm sitting here looking for my Twisted Soul Cookhouse.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. All right, what's your favorite guilty pleasure? So you can, it's like when you get away from work and kids, and it's like, I want to just go this.
Well, I'll take a peppermint mocha frappuccino in a Starbucks parking lot any day.
All right, good. All right, local getaway. Where do you want to get away other than anywhere that's out of the office for a little bit?
This is so bad because you're exposing what I don't do for myself.
That's okay. All right. I mean, and I will say it's when you have kids, sometimes those opportunities to do those local getaways that you want to do are a little more challenging, and you're doing family. So, is there a place you like to go as a family that's kind of a Great Wolf Lodge or something fun like that? Good fun place.
Well, we just like to get out to the trail to walk for the kids. And I, without revealing so much, look, you could tell I'm a reporter. I'm always like tagging our location. Stop doing it.
Yeah, I will not tag your location.
Yeah, but no,
local park is good. That's as detailed as we need to get. That's all good.
Yes, but out on the trail and just and letting them go off on their bikes, and the girls are really into running now. They're like my husband. They like to run with him, and of course, Noah's still in the stroller. But if we can just get outside and forget the time. We also started having a box of pizza in the park during the pandemic. So Saturday morning we go pick up like a Little Caesars pizza.
Yeah.
And lay out our blanket and just get out to our favorite park.
I tell you, Atlanta has so many trails, and I mean, my wife and I, since the kids are both in college now, have been hitting the bike trails, and there's so many wonderful places to go. We did Arabian Mountain a week or two back, and there's this, it's fun trying to let's find a different place to go, and we're seeing parts of Atlanta that we either haven't seen before or haven't seen in a long time. So anything else that kind of either work or fun stuff wise that we haven't talked about that you wanted to mention? I know like I said, this is just kind of a get to know Nicole kind of conversation, so it's just kind of fun.
So just during the pandemic, I've really tried to live out my HGTV dreams.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
I'm about to DIY the laundry room.
Cool.
And I found my ideas on Pinterest, and hopefully I don't mess anything up or have to call in some reinforcement. But
what's the worst that can happen? It's the laundry room. Who's going to see that, right?
I thought I knew how to use this drill. Because I'm into like floating shelves now, and I know that sounds simple, but like I want to do it. So redoing the laundry room and the pantry, these are the things that make me happy. And replacing light fixtures.
There you go. I like doing my own yard work. My wife says you could hire somebody to do that. It's like, yeah, I like the sense of accomplishment. It gets done. I look at it. It's like, that looks good for a week or so.
But you're getting it done. My husband doesn't want anybody over here. We need help.
He wants to do it himself, you mean?
He wants to do it himself, but we're all super busy. I'm like, we need some help. to get us started. Maybe one of the neighbors will write us and say, get it together.
You need a kid 12 or older who can push a mower, right?
Yes.
Little budding entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Couple years.
Our boy is one.
Look, there's no reason why a girl can't push a mower. Don't go there.
She's not 12. We're getting into the double digits next year.
I know. All right, cool. Well, Nicole Carr, WSB TV, thank you for taking time with us this morning. We appreciate it. Have a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you soon.